Currently, millions of people here in the United States are panicking. They are confused. They do not know what to do. Should I go and buy fuel for my vehicle? Should I go and buy a house because mortgage rates are going down? Lumber prices may get a little bit less expensive, but materials could go up. Should I buy a car? Should I wait? Everybody's asking the same questions. What should I do? Well, today we're going to discuss this because right now there's a lot of confusion going over President Trump's recent, he's been talking about for a while, but more recent tariffs on Canada, Mexico, China, and potentially very soon, the EU. So I'm going to break all this down, explain what is going on and why so many people are confused and panicking. But it's not just individuals, it's businesses as well. And because of the business confusion, we could see mass layoffs very soon. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, explain what is going on and what this means for you and I moving forward. But before I do, all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So the past few weeks have been a whirlwind. We don't know what is coming. President Trump announces something new almost every single day, and this sends the stock market for a frenzy. It goes up, it goes down, and we don't know. Look at this. It says Trump's tariffs live updates. Businesses warn of ripple effects from tariffs because of rising costs. Now, I talked to several business owners just the other day, actually over the past 2 days, and every single one of them had a different answer. One says, I'm going to lay off employees. One says, we have to raise prices by this weekend. Another business said that in addition to layoffs, they're also closing a couple locations. Okay? So these tariffs are going to have a ripple effect on the economy, on the American people, and it's going to just continue to spread. Look at this though, because this is another concern. It says the layoff announcement soared to the highest since 2020 as DOGE slashes federal staff. Here's the problem. In 2020, this was the beginning of the pandemic. This was, in some cases, this was right before PPP loans, so businesses were not getting any help from the federal government to keep their employees on. So what happened is people were getting laid off left and right. The unemployment rate skyrocketed. It was insane. But all these things are starting to happen again. More layoffs. Why? Because there's confusion. Think about this for a second. When we entered into 2020, there was already some talk of a new virus that hit here in the United States. Okay, I live here in Washington State, so I was very close to the very first human case here in the U.S. Now, when that was confirmed, and then it started to spread, and then New York got hit, California got hit, and it just kept going, right? Businesses were shutting down. 2 weeks, right? Schools shut down. 2 weeks. Everybody was just on high alert, right? They were confused. What do we do? Never been here before. This is almost the same sentiment that I'm getting from business owners as well, is we've never been here before. We have never tariffed every other country. That is hurting business. Not only is it hurting business though, if it's affecting the profit margins, that's where we're going to see layoffs. That's where we're going to see expenses get reduced. The fastest way to reduce an expense as a business is to eliminate your employees. Does this impact your profit? Yeah. But that's something that they're looking at doing. Now, here's where things are getting interesting. Even though, and I know this is difficult, but the tariffs are something that could work if we allow them to work. The problem is we may not have the ability to wait and see how effective tariffs are. Because if the U.S. economy really starts to struggle, the American people were already struggling. We have two different economies. Okay, one economy, which is where the higher end earners are making their living, right? They're buying luxury goods, new cars, new homes, right? Don't have to worry about the high interest rates because for many of them, we're just buying cars just outright, right? So that's not a concern. Then you got the lower income that is struggling just to put food on the table. They're not buying anything fancy. They're not buying a new car. In many cases, they're not even paying for the maintenance on the car that they do have. They're not. They are just letting it sit because they don't have the money to pay for a $120 oil change. They don't have the money to put new spark plugs in their car. That's the issue. Two different economies. Now, here's where things are getting really interesting. I was reading this article today. It says, will you pay more for gas under the new Canada tariffs? Depends on where you live. Now, in this article, and I want to read a little of this to you, okay? It says the U.S. tariffs on Canada fuel imports could hit some parts of the country harder than others. The Northeast could see that change first, according to experts, and prices are also at risk of rising on the West Coast. But even those potential hikes would be unlikely to come immediately. The tariffs put in place on Tuesday were 25% for most imports, but only 10% for energy products. Listen to this. It says, while U.S. domestic oil production reached a world record 4.7 billion barrels of oil in 2024, Canada is still a major source of oil for the U.S., shipping 1.5 billion barrels of crude oil to the U.S. last year. Mexico, whose energy exports to the United States also face a 25% tariff, is the second largest source of oil for the United States, shipping 166 million barrels north of the border. That's about 2/3 more than the U.S. imports from Saudi Arabia. Okay, so we established right there, Canada and Mexico are huge sources of crude oil. Now, this is where things get interesting. So we know the cost of goods is going up. We know the cost of fuel is going to go up slightly. But here's the problem. Now we have the cost of fuel, meaning that the cost of transportation is going up. So it's not just goods, it's now services are going up. When goods and services go up, we are likely to see inflation. Now, how much inflation? That we don't know. But this is also the reasons why businesses are concerned. They're confused. What do we do? How do we make it through this economy? That's the problem. Nobody knows. Some are going to raise prices. I heard from the CEO of Target just the other day. He's saying that for their grocery, for fruits and vegetables, especially those products coming in from Mexico, those prices are going to increase probably by this weekend. So you probably have 2 to 3 days of normal prices, and then you'll see a little bit of an uptick. As far as other goods, toys, clothing, things like that, you are going to see those prices slowly go up. There won't be a big jump. They'll slowly trickle up. And that's going to happen almost immediately as well. Even though they're products that are already in the warehouse, we're not tariffed, that doesn't matter. What matters is those are products that they have, they can sell. The American people are expecting these tariffs to come in at some point, so they're just going to start introducing them soon. Again, issues, confusion. So do the American people go out and buy a new car right now? Well, the one thing I can tell you is it's not looking bad for automakers, not at this time. There's a little pause. But is it looking bad for furniture? Yeah. Electronics? Yeah. Those are going to go up. So I was talking to a friend of mine just the other day, and he was saying that if these went into effect, his business would be drastically changing. So he does, he buys these big panels. He does like these like wall monitors, or I'm not sure what, big TVs, I guess is what you call them. But these are like 100 and some inch televisions. But he puts them together in little monitors, little sections. Okay, they're like 6 by 10 inch little screens that he just sticks on a wall, and it makes a huge monitor. He said his business will be greatly impacted because everything that he purchases is coming from China. Every single thing he purchases comes from China. So for his business alone, which is already rather expensive, I think he was saying the last TV that he did was like 160 inches or something like that. It's a massive screen. I think he said it cost he charged the customer, I think it was like $15,000 or $25,000. Okay, so think about that plus an additional 20% because that's what the new tariff is going to be. So let's say it's just $10,000 plus an additional 20%. That means it's $12,000 right there. And if he wants to make a little bit more money, right, then he has to charge a little bit extra on top of that. So maybe instead of $10,000, now it's $13,000. Again, prices are going to go up. But I just want to share this with you because right now, everybody's asking, what do I do? Do I buy a car? Do I go and buy a home? Should I wait? Should I buy a shed? Should I buy a RV? Should I go and buy a new watch and new paintings and invest more? Well, the stock market's selling off because everyone's confused, doesn't know what to do. So at this time, here's my advice to you. When everybody is panicking, and this is what a financial advisor told me. Okay, this was years ago. He said when everybody is panicking and trying to make moves, buying a new car, buying a new house, investing in this, investing in that, sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. To just wait it out. So, maybe that's something you need to do. Maybe that's something you need to consider, but that's my advice to you. While everybody is panicking, maybe just wait, watch, and evaluate. So, I will leave you with that, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.